right, all right. Hello, hello, hello. Give it just a couple seconds for our live people. What is going on? You are listening and watching Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. This is episode 619. I am your host, Steve V, alongside Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell are you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. What's going on?
What's going on? I am in Puerto Vallarta, enjoying the time here. It is, for people that know Puerto Vallarta, this is a really good time to be in the city because the weather is just so good. It is not as humid as it can get in the summer
hmm
months. The rain is subsided. People are starting to trickle in a little bit more, the tourists, the guys, but not quite like it will get come Thanksgiving week when circuit parties start, white party, and all that good stuff. And I kind of like it at this time. It's really cool. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm posting a lot right now of behind the scenes in my life and what it looks like here when I'm in Puerto Vallarta, which I often call my second home. And people can get exclusive behind the scenes content for free if you just go to our Tags Patreon community. And all week I've been posting stuff. I'll continue to post. We're going to a not a private beach, but a different beach that a lot of people don't know. We're going to that tomorrow. I posted today how I cheat on my barber. And I was telling you in our meeting, I have this
Yeah.
other barber that I cheat on because the whole barber
Girl.
relationship is a sacred one, and you don't want to piss off your barber. But since my barber voted
No.
for Trump, I am, and I knew he was going to vote for Trump, and we have a good relationship. I've talked about it on this show before, but I could not see him. I purposely went to my barber 2 weeks ago, the day of the election, because I didn't want to, not knowing how the outcome was going to turn out. I went to go see him a day before because heaven forbid. And we had this
Smart.
crazy bet that he had me sign up for that if Trump won, he would give me a free haircut because he won. And if
Yes.
Kamala had won, I would owe him what I would pay for the haircut.
Oh,
And
okay.
I should have went the day after because I would have gotten a free haircut. But I was so freaked out, and I think our feelings were also, as we all know, as we're still many of us dealing with them,
Yeah.
that I went the day of the election, and he said, "Whatever turns out, don't be mad." I'm like, "I won't," but I still couldn't bring myself to see him, and because of the way it worked out, I had a week. I go every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So the way it worked out, I didn't have to go in until, well, so I didn't go in and I came here. And the person that I cheat on, Barber wise, is here. His name is Ulysses. Shout out to Barber and Booze. I did a whole video on our Patreon community today of the experience because they have craft cocktails there and they're really
Ooh.
amazing. And you can get a really good mezcal cocktail complete with
Ooh.
dry ice smoke and lava salt and get your haircut. And I got all of that for $32.
That's a cocktail and a haircut for $32. That's one drink here in New York City.
That's
$32.
exactly. I was telling my
Come
boyfriend,
to
he's
my
like,
bar,
welcome to New York City. And
right?
exactly. I mean, I think I spent up almost inwards of $50, albeit I love my barber. He does a really good job, but no cocktail. I mean, I think in the past he's giving me like a beer, which is nice, but that's like not a guarantee. I want my cocktail moment.
That's
And
right.
it's
He
so
gave you a
weird
handful
too.
of Skittles and charged you $50.
And it's so funny because when I go to this barber here, I have to kind of plan it out too, because if I'm going to the gym that day, I have to make sure that I go to the gym earlier because I know I want that cocktail there. Once you have that cocktail, you're not going to be wanting to go to the gym. So I have to kind of plan out my day
Yeah.
and the timing of that haircut. It's a whole thing, Kodi, but you can
Oh, I
all
know.
watch.
It's very
Yeah.
involved. Even though I don't have any hair, I still know.
Okay, well, yeah, right. Okay, well, you can watch my behind the scenes, including that video for free and my daily log over on our Patreon community. Go to patreon.com/tags podcast. And by the way, if you want to grab a tier and support tags, you can get extra special sexy content. Like this Friday will be a brand new extra bonus episode. Things you won't hear on this
Ooh.
show. You are getting a bonus episode come Friday. My 50 and Fabulous series starts this week as well.
Oh.
And you will get the first video of, I'm just giving my tips and tricks on how to stay young and youthful. And that drops on Friday as well. So lots to check out. Go to patreon.com/tags podcast. All right. Well, we love it when you comment into us and when you talk back to us and when you just tell us how you're feeling, or maybe something we said rubbed you the right way. Well, Kodi has somebody that wrote it to him. What did the person say, and what do you want to shout out?
Well, I love it because it's just so positive, and it's a good way to start out the show, right? By saying something positive, by having someone compliment me, and I think this is the perfect DM to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had Randy write in, and he says, longtime listener of the show. I just listened to episode 616 about coping with the results of the election. He says, as a gay white man married to a black man, I cannot begin to tell you how much your voice resonated with me today. He said he's been struggling since the election results to find a way to express how he's been feeling, and I was it. He says, thank you for your authenticity and sincerity in this very complicated world, and keep fighting. And that is what I needed. That is what it was, everything that my soul needed to continue to fight. And thank you so much for that lovely, lovely DM, Randy. Keep them coming. I spoke to him. We text back and forth a little bit, and we just affirm one another. And that's really kind of what I needed, the feeling that I wasn't alone in feeling the way that I was feeling. So I really thank you so much. And thank you for being a listener.
Thank you, Randy, for sure. And if you remember, that was a tough period that many of us are still struggling through. Yes. And I think that we were giving a positive spin on it, but
I was like in my feelings all the way.
Yeah.
I was like, exactly. I'm having none of this.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh, well, we've got to get into so many hot topics. And one of them has to do with the 10 states with the highest they said STD rates, but this was by US News, but people are calling it STIs right now, and infections. They do say that in the tagline, these states have been the highest combined rates of 3 major sexually transmitted infections. So they did get it right in the secondary line of their article. Some facts, Kodi, that were interesting is every state that they looked at had a decrease from 2023 to today, which is a good thing, a small decrease in STIs. And a lot of the different individual things that came at the top were chlamydia rates, followed by gonorrhea rates, and then syphilis rates. And they did it by per 100,000. So just to give you a little bit of, we'll start with us because New York was number 10 as the most STI rates at 157.3 per 100,000. And to break it down a little bit more, chlamydia rates were 558.4 per 100,000. Gonorrhea was 235.6 per 100,000, and syphilis rates were 63.3 per 100,000. I'm glad it's broken down in that way, Kodi, because chlamydia is one of those ones that you can pretty much wipe out. And as a reminder to our audience, when you're getting tested for chlamydia, make sure you do the swabbing, because normally you pee in a cup, but oftentimes primary care doctors don't stress the swab. And by swab, I mean swabbing your throat. If you're doing oral, that won't often show in your urine, as well as your anal region, which can also show up there, that wouldn't necessarily show up in the urine. So if you're going to do it, do all three of those, right? Don't you agree on that, Kodi?
Totally.
Just to have
100%.
a more accurate results on when you're getting tested. And then we talked about the other day on episode 618 on the timing. So when you go test it for some of this stuff, we posted an article on TAGSPodcast.com, reference 618, where it talks about the various timing that you need to kind of look at. So if you think you may have been infected, there's certain times for syphilis, chlamydia, and gonorrhea that can show up at different times. And it just means if you're going to be more sexually active, you probably need to get tested more often than not. Put it in your calendar once a month, I say.
Once a month.
Once a month. If you're finding that you're a little bit more having a good time, we vote for that on this show. But let me read you the top 10 cities. Coming in at number 10 was New York, but the rest of them were more red states, Kodi. Number 9, Arkansas. Number 8, South Carolina. Number 7, North Carolina. Number 6, Alabama, followed by number 5, Georgia. Number 4, South Dakota. Number 3, Alaska. Number 2, Mississippi. And coming in at number 1 with the most STD rates per 100,000 at 1,181.5 per 100,000 was Louisiana. So people that are going to be going to Mardi Gras this season, I'm kidding. Next year.
I can't say that I haven't had fun in Louisiana. Louisiana is a good time. Yeah.
It was interesting though. And we're reading this off of an actual study that was done to point out these states. We're by no means doing this to shame certain cities. And how could we? Our state is number 10 on the list of it. But most of them, we had a theory in our meeting that most of them were red states. And you had some theories about that. And then we'll talk about New York.
Definitely. So, most of these are southern states and red states. And they are highly religious southern states. And a lot of people that are highly religious, they do not like to use contraception. So I think that plays in it. So I think
more religious states, correct?
Yes, exactly. And that's why they have 8,000 kids, because they are out here just raw dogging it all the time. And, but that's just some. It's not all. I didn't say all people. But also there's another component to it. And I just looked up the states with the lowest, that are the lowest in education in the United States. And a lot of them that are on this list of high STD rates, they are also on the lowest education spectrum. So I'm not saying that there is something that's tied to that, but I know as a person that lived in the South about 20 years ago, so it might have changed, that there wasn't a lot of information that was widespread about STIs and things of that nature. I actually got involved in HIV and STI prevention while I was living in Virginia. And that taught me a lot of things about how to protect myself, how to protect other people. And it is, I feel like it's lacking a little bit. But again, that was 20 years ago. Things may have changed, but these statistics are telling me otherwise.
Yeah, and then we were talking about New York City and why, or just New York in general, and why are we on the list, a blue state? But in our meeting, we were talking about how transient, how international. New York is probably the most international city in the world. You can't walk down the street without hearing languages from all around the world. And it is a destination where we got COVID first. We were the first to get Mpox, monkeypox first. And I just think it's because we are a destination that everybody wants to come to, and people are bringing that stuff over to us, I think, too.
I know, right? It's not our fault. Exactly. And it sounded like you were bragging for a second. We got monkeypox first.
Well, it did. Yeah,
but we're not bragging.
No bragging rights on that for sure, because we do not want. But I think that's kind of why we are on the list as one of the top 10. But it just means that if you're on the list, if you're not on the list, if you listen to our other episode 618, if you find yourself more sexually active, we say it time and time again, get tested more often. I told Kodi on episode 618 that since monkeypox showed up in LA, the first case, that you and I are both due for a new vaccination of monkeypox, and that we were going to probably go together. And we looked it up, and I found it in my local Chelsea, because I live in the Chelsea neighborhood, clinic. It's a LGBTQ clinic in Chelsea, and they're offering shots there, vaccinations, I should say. And so
I actually talked to my doctor about it, because I went and got, my STI checkup.
Yes. And what did he say, or they say?
He said that's the best way to go to the Chelsea clinic and get it done. So I said, good, because I already have plans to do it with my friend.
We're going to make a whole date night out of it.
Yes, we are. We're going to have a date day.
And we'll go have a cocktail to celebrate and pat ourselves on the back. Okay, well, we've got to move on. And I think I'm moving on to text threats that have been showing up in a lot of Latinos and LGBTQ people, saying things like deportation and re-education, stoking fear and defiance. And from Latino teens in Georgia to a lesbian Las Vegas business owner, they're the latest to receive offensive and disturbing text messages that the FBI is investigating. And this is the kind of the stuff that we were fearful of. Trump hasn't even entered into office, Kodi, and already with threats of we're sending everybody that is Latino or a migrant, an immigrant, home immediately. And of course, they're always targeting Latinos and people of Latin descent first and foremost. And then things like a lesbian that was targeted for being just that. Here's what they had to say for her, that she had to report in to Diane Breer, a 41-year-old lesbian, received a text message on November 10th telling her to check into Nellis Air Force Base in southern Nevada on Inauguration Day for an 8-week LGBT re-education. Notice they didn't put the T, Kodi, on that. LGBT, girl, because they have different...
The sneak, honey.
Yeah, because of course they're going to be targeting transgender people separately, but it was for her to report for an 8-week LGBT re-education camp. And according to screenshots of the message, the former Las Vegas resident shared this with NBC News. And this is the kind of stuff that's fear-mongering, that people are worried about. But she's a business owner, an actual business owner for the community, and she puts up her flag in Nevada. And she said she will continue to. If they take it down, she's going to put it back up. I think she's very brave. But of course they targeted her because she's put herself out there with her, rightly so. But when you hear this kind of stuff about already people getting messages like this, and they're probably from teenagers and kids just that are really starting this fear mongering. What are your thoughts?
Well, we talked about this before, and I think the first round was actually Black people getting messages about going to you've been selected to go pick cotton. Did you hear about that? You remember that?
Yes, I did. That's Black people.
Absolutely ridiculous. Yes. So it kind of reminds me, this whole situation reminds me of a quote by Martin Niemöller. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but we'll see. And the quote goes, when they came for the Jews, I did not speak up because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me and there was nobody left to speak. And that's from back in the day, from when the Nazis attacked the Jews. And I think that this is something that we should take heed to, because history does repeat itself. And they started with Black people, and as far as the cotton picking thing was going, and I think that they just started to move down the line of people that they were disturbed with, and that didn't fit into the straight white male club, basically. Yeah. So if you think that you are protected in any way, shape, or form, and you are not in the straight white man club, I need for you to rethink things and to actually assess where you want to align yourself, because all of our rights are in jeopardy unless you're in that category. So I think that we need to be as vigilant as possible about this.
Yeah, and people are advised, I'll post this article on TAGSPodcast.com, reference episode 619, that if you do find yourself or somebody you know who gets one of these messages, to report it to the FBI, and they give that information on there. So look for that if you know somebody that is being threatened by these awful, just draconian.
And they're just emboldened
laws.
now.
Yeah.
Him getting into the presidency has emboldened so many racists and people,
Yeah.
homophobes, to come out, misogynists to come out and really just live their heyday and live in their glory, quote unquote.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm disgusted.
Yeah, me too. So, okay, well, we've got to move on. And we talked about on episode 618 how Bluesky, the alternative now to X, formerly known as Twitter, is really taking off. And during our meeting, we learned of some new numbers. We said on our last episode that actually 1 million people had subscribed to Bluesky, the alternative. And we told you that it's the original creator, CEO of Twitter that moved and created Bluesky. He's no longer the CEO anymore, but 1 million people in November post-election had signed up to Bluesky. Well, now, as of today, up to 20 million users have created accounts and become users of Bluesky. This is reported by ZDNet, and it's tripled in 3 months, showing that it's one of the leading platforms. And who are some of the people that are going over to Bluesky? Are the gays, because if you remember gay Twitter, it was a huge thing. Black Twitter, of course, also people talked about, and these were huge things. Well, the gay migration is real, underway, and the startup app has exploded over the last week, doubling, like I said, up to 15 million people. And we're at the forefront of this. And they gave a recent guide on Queerty on how to kind of navigate your way over there, what to expect, and how to get into the right communities if you want to be featured. Or if you just want to follow gays of Bluesky is one way to go to. Lesbians of Bluesky is another way. Thirst traps, don't worry. NSFW, not suitable for work, gays of Bluesky list for those who may be interested in things like, naked stuff like I post. In fact, I went over there earlier today because I'm finding it's a great alternative. I started the other day. I had 3 followers. You were one of them, and I'm already up to 60 right now in just a couple of days. And I'm finding that it's a positive experience so far. You can find things like thirst traps over there. And you can be added to certain lists if the gays are. By the way, the official term for a post on Bluesky is called a skeet. S-K-E-E-T. A skeet. Did I say that right? Skeet?
Yeah, you got it. And
which
is an urban term for ejaculate too. I don't know if that it was involved in the decision making as far as skeet is concerned, but you remember that song, "All skeet skeet motherfucker"? That song. Oh my god.
Oh yes, thank you for the reminder on that.
No problem.
Yeah. How do you see adult-oriented content on there? Well, if you're looking for that, there's various ways you can. For the thirsty among us, one of the few redeeming qualities of Twitter is the prevalence of adult content, like we all knew. But on Bluesky, there might even be more, at least in relation to the percentage of users. And all you have to do is toggle your preferences, and voila, the dirty world is yours. You can do GIFs like you do on Twitter as well, because we all love those.
I could get GIFs.
Yeah. And so I am all here for it. Are you excited about Bluesky, at least right now, and where it's headed? I know you have an account too. By the way, what is your account name?
Oh, it's Mr. Mistah, Maurice, Maurice, all run together. And it's the same as my Instagram handle. And I may have gotten of a certain age pod too.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I love
So
that.
I'm
Yeah.
loving Blue Sky. I am loving it. It's such a welcoming community. I'm already a part of Black Sky, Gay Sky, Black Gay Sky, all of those things. And I follow tops of
What
Twitter.
about your
Matter of
Latino
fact,
side?
oh no, I need to find it. I haven't tapped into it yet. I need to
Okay,
if you could help direct me. I haven't found any of
I
the
will
Latino
find
Sky
it.
either. Is
Yes.
it Brown Sky? Is that what we're gonna do? I don't
Maybe,
know.
yeah,
Maybe
brown
we
sky,
should
yeah.
make it. Yeah.
Yes.
But I follow tops of Twitter. Tops of Blue Sky. I know, right? Ooh.
Yeah.
Bottoms of Blue Sky, gays of Blue Sky. I'm even featured on the Tops of Blue Sky thread. So go check a bitch
Hey,
out.
okay.
Yes.
And then I am at Tags Podcast, really easy because you know the show you've come to know and love. That's what I am on Blue Sky at Tags Podcast, which is also my X account as well, too. So, and I'm posting stuff over there that gives a little bit of insight into my adult content as well as stuff related to Tags Podcast. So if you're open to NS not suitable for work, I'm posting some teasers that you would potentially see on my Just for Fans OnlyFans. So check that out. And as we just spoke, I just got a Blue Sky notification.
You got more followers?
um, somebody watching us maybe just like followed me over there. So yeah,
let me get on here.
Yes,
Excuse
Doug
me while I
watching
check my Blue
this.
Sky.
Doug just followed both of us. Thanks, Doug. Yeah, I just saw my
Yay,
phone
thanks,
light up.
Doug.
And thank you. At Tags Podcast and at Mr. Maurice on Blue Sky are your ticket to bliss. Or I'm just going to put it out there and let us know what you think about it. Well, we're huge fans of the singer and the artist known as John Duff. Totally out there, put some really great material out there. He's very sexy. He's got great music. And he just recently released his greatest hits deluxe edition, an album featuring songs like Prove Me Wrong, Susie Cutie, Nobody to Love, Forgotten How to Fuck, Ho is Life, Waiting, Be Your Girl, Housewife, and Close Back On. If you like those titles, I love John Duff. I know you do too as well, Kodi.
Yeah.
And he also included his brand new single on this deluxe edition called Stick Up. And it might just be his raunchiest and most uncensored song ever. And to top it off, Kodi, he started his OnlyFans, which is free right now. And you can actually get the extra X-rated version of it. And what are you going to see on that? He said that he's very unapologetic about in the song. He said, I should have been a porn star. I should have been a stripper. Oh man, I'm such a hoe. I should have been a politician. Elections and erections. I'm winning all the polls. I don't know how to golf, but no more than 18 holes. Ooh, that's pretty good. He's got his voice is so deep and resounding. It's sexy. It's sultry. Do you like his voice?
I love his voice. I think he has an
Yeah.
amazing singing voice. I think he's super hot, of course. And yeah, he is it. I'm enjoying him a lot.
John Duff, y'all. He said, I wrote Stick Up, which is the new song about corruption and how none of us are immune from participating as we move into later stages of late stage capitalism. And in making the video, I knew I wanted to walk the walk and go to the no zone for artists. He added, well, it is all very sexual and edgy. That's the point. It's art. I'm happiest when I'm free, and I'm happy to have a place to explore artistry with the censor restrictions of most mainstream. Without the censor restrictions of most mainstream, I should say. And that's where he is actually, oh my God. That is where you get to see this extra video. And what do you think about it as an artist? He is posting this X-rated version on his OnlyFans and how the merging of OnlyFans. By the way, I went on there to get the free account, and you have to pay for the video version of it at $11. So, well, it is free, and you get some thirst traps. you know, you don't really get the full video unless you pay for it individually. So it's a good clickbait, but yeah.
Well, I think it's smart. I think he is smart. I think he's unapologetic and very outspoken. And I think this is one of the best ways to make money as a musician, and especially an independent musician like he is. And because that you don't have the backing of a label, you are making all this content, but some of it goes to the scrapyard. Some of it you can't even show on certain platforms. So where does it go? It goes on OnlyFans, and he can show off, and he's done a lot of work on his body because he's looking
Oh
excellent,
yeah, extra
especially
special.
in that new video where he is basically a stripper most of the time. It's just great. He's pouring milk down his chest, and it's
Oh.
coming off of his his sausage, and he just looks delicious. So kudos to him. He's got a hot boyfriend, and I kind of want to see a video of them on the OnlyFans.
Ooh, I
Put
like
that
that.
up there, John Duff.
You're about to embark on your first EP. Would you consider putting out, merging the two? I know your Blue Sky is very tantalizing. Would you ever consider putting out different versions of videos? And what do you think about the industry today where a gay artist, an LGBT artist like John, it's no longer what it was before, that sexuality is out there and you can put it all out there for people at different tiers?
Yeah. I think that this is not my first inkling of an artist using OnlyFans. Jack Tracy, who we had on the show, he uses OnlyFans as well to promote a lot of his material. He shoots spicier sections to the videos and he releases them on OnlyFans, or is it Patreon? It's one or the other. But I got
Right.
this idea from him. So it's been something that has been ruminating in my brain for quite a while. Would I
Ooh.
do something like this? I haven't ruled it out just yet because, again, it's a way to make extra money and also express your sensual side. And I'm here with you on this podcast, and this is, we express our sensual side, and I
Yeah.
don't think I'm completely opposed to it. I think I'm more leaning to this could be a way. It might come
Yeah.
down the line because I would like to establish myself as an artist first, and then maybe as a sexual object later. But I don't know. I'm still thinking it
Yeah.
through.
He's
We'll
on
see.
his greatest hits. So, at
Yeah,
this
he's
point,
doing good.
he's always had a sexual side to his content. And so this
Yeah.
is par for the core for John Duff, I think. But I hear you. And get that material out there first. You can always do this later on. There's no hurry, but get the material out there. And I agree with you.
Thank you.
Boyfriend watching says, I don't need to subscribe to message me to my Blue Sky. I have the original. And I was like, yes, you do.
Oh, yes.
3
You
snaps
better
and
get it.
yeah. And don't
He
forget.
knows. Yes.
I reminded him in his own personal comment section. Yes, exactly. Okay. Well, we've got to talk about some drama that was occurring if you're a fan of Trixie Mattel and Drag Race. Jeffree Star, where do we know Jeffree Star from?
From being a messy bitch.
Besides that.
She owns a makeup line. She's tried to be famous for a long time, but she's racist and she's homophobic despite being, I don't know, gender nonconforming is what I'm going to go with. But I don't
Yeah.
really know them. They're just a horrible person.
I think you're right. Once upon a time, Jeffree Star was a makeup mogul in their own right. But today, they spend their time coming for other people like Trixie Mattel, who is on fire right now, drag queen Trixie Mattel. During a recent live stream. By the way, is Trixie the one that is on Vanessa Williams' song?
Yep, she is.
Yeah,
She's on Bop.
On Bop. Yeah, during a recent live stream, Jeffree Star delivered a seemingly unprovoked rant about Trixie Mattel's teeth, of all things. Quote, I'm going to be a really brutal. Trixie Mattel has some of the worst teeth I've ever seen in my fucking life, okay? She went on to say Trixie Mattel only has a top done with no bottom. Like she just had the top done of her teeth. So it looks like full yellow piss and then this beautiful front. Yeah, veneers. So if you don't get your top and bottoms done, it looks awful. Star continued saying that Mattel's veneers were very cheap work and that it only looks good from certain angles. You see behind disgusting decay and yellow with this beautiful porcelain star. Well, people were not having it and came for actually Jeffree Star, not Jeffree Star coming for Trixie's teeth for absolutely no reason. And they went on, he is so jealous of her makeup being popular and coming for his gig. Love, Trixie. Somebody else said Jeffree Star ruined his career years ago. He moved to the Midwest and sells yak meat or whatever because his makeup empire crumbled due to his racist past, present, and inevitable future. He's mad Trixie's able to take a sabbatical and he's on TikTok live scraping by. You're a huge fan of Trixie. What do you say to this drama beef?
There's no drama beef. Trixie is way more successful than Jeffree Star will ever be because they're a horrible person. So I think that Trixie should not even respond because everybody can see the forest for the trees in this situation. And Jeffree Star, you just need to tap on out and just give it up, girl. Go back to selling your little yak meat and call it a day because
what
this
is
not the battle that you want to try and fight. Yak is like it's a labor beast. I think it's they're in the. I can Google it really quick, but I feel like they're in Asian countries. Wild yak is an animal. Where do yaks live? They live in alpine tundra, grasslands, and cold desert regions of the Tibetan plateau.
Yak beef?
It's just a random gig, and I don't know that they're actually selling yak meat. I just think that that's something funny that they wanted to say. That I don't even know that Jeffree Star is selling meat at all. I feel like they're trying to sell makeup unsuccessfully. Is what I think.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we've got to move on. And last week, or on episode 618, we were talking about For the Love of DILFs and how we're all excited about season 3, hosted by Stormy Daniels, about daddies we'd love to fuck, as opposed to, I was going to say twinks, but they're not twinks, they're himbos. What's the difference between a himbo and a twink, Kodi? I feel like you're our source today of all things. What is the difference between a himbo and a twink?
Slang. All things slang.
Yeah, you're like the expert. I mean, I'm so out of it. It's so funny.
It's all good. I don't know.
I'm out of it when it comes to stuff.
I should be out of it at this point. I should have tapped out a long time ago, but here we are.
Yeah. Okay, what's
still be knowing
a himbo and a twink?
I think, well, a himbo is a male bimbo. A him that is a bimbo.
Oh, okay.
So that infers that there is a stupidity to it, which is, and I think that himbos.
I don't like that idea.
It is what it is. I don't think you're a himbo. I think you're.
Well, I hope I'm not a himbo. By the way,
a daddy hunk.
I would be a daddy on this series. I'm way too old.
A dunk.
To be
a daddy hunk.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
A dunk. Is that a real thing?
I don't know. It is today.
Okay. A dunk.
But a twink is just a very thin gay guy, in my opinion, and therefore it doesn't mean that they're dumb or anything of that nature. So yeah, I think that the himbos are dumb muscle boys, basically.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
I would have been a himbo 10 years ago.
And the age gap is about how much between For the Love of DILFs? So anywhere from late 40s, correct, on up.
Yes.
As for the daddies, himbos 60s. Are okay. Himbos
20s,
are
maybe early 30s.
Okay, yeah. So my boyfriend and I are not in this category, I guess. I would be a daddy for sure, but he would also he's younger than me, but he would be a daddy as well. So two daddies don't make
he's
right.
Younger than you? I did not know that.
He is younger than me. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Okay, but there's a newer show that's coming out called Dating Naked Germany. And it is season 2. The first was Dating Naked UK. Now it's in Germany. The Germans know how to do it, I think. We can post this link in our for those watching so they can see some of the naked bodies that you would actually see. And let's if you want to see who's on this new series, but it brings to mind the because we talked a lot about being naked on this show and how you've been comfortable going to the naked beach, how I'm comfortable going to the naked beach. If I was single, Kodi, and this was in America, I would totally do this because I think what I've learned about being naked is, and
Mhm.
albeit not a TV series and a reality show, is that in the end, you're so free in yourself when you're naked, and that you actually
Mhm.
don't end up, you might look at the body part, but you move on from that. And I think that it would be a really great way to kind of get that out of the way, see somebody exposed, if you will, and hopefully it would expose their persona as well. So you would get to see them full in every way possible. And that I would be here for that. Would you go on a dating show like this?
I definitely would. I
Really?
don't know if I would go on a show. I would go on
Yeah.
an experience like this that was not televised because
Uh-huh.
I think that I'm very comfortable being naked. I
Yeah.
am definitely down to do, a little dating round robin, but I am not down for putting it on national TV. I think that that is just a step
Yeah.
too far,
Or German TV
and
at least. Yeah.
maybe German TV because,
Maybe German TV.
Hasselhoff was very popular over there, so I hopefully I could do well on German TV. So, yeah, I just think that I would be down for it, but again, it would have to be private, something enclosed, and, maybe we could set that up, a dating naked experience with
Yeah.
Tag Podcasts.
We could, yeah, that would be kind of fun, right? I just think
Oh, definitely.
we're such a visual. We were talking about on episode 618 and how visual we are, but in terms of gay men who are looking for other gay men. But I think in the end, it it would get that out of the way, and then everybody would just actually be up for the challenge of just connecting. Hopefully, that would be the
Yeah.
case.
It's
That's what we would
definitely an
hope.
icebreaker.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, we love giving advice on this show, and we've got a couple to get to, starting with Reddit. And it was feeling, this person wrote, Bob's M's 123 wrote, left feeling confused and shitty. Oh, we don't like that. Apologies. So they wrote, I'm pretty new to the hookup dating scene, 30-year-old here. I came out later in life. I had a string of bad dates, so said, screw it. Met a nice guy on Grindr, and it was supposed to be a casual friends with benefit type relationship. Had a great time with him, spent a couple of hours together the first time, and met up again multiple times, not just hookup. So think Netflix, right? I was okay with it just being friends with benefits at first, but he was extremely affectionate. So think cuddles while Netflix, holding my hand, arms around my waist in public, and even told his friends and showed my pic to them. All of this threw me off and left me a bit confused. When I started to bring it up and asked if he was hooking up with anyone else, he tensed up a bit and dodged my question and left a bit later. He later texted saying he was thrown off by the question. I clarified that I wasn't trying to pressure him into anything, but was just trying to get a feel for where his mindset was. And he responded that he didn't really know what he was looking for, but he liked spending time with me and being close. And we tabled the conversation and continued texting. I was out of town. Did I mess things up because he hasn't heard from the guy? I'm trying to accept that in all likelihood, whatever we had is over. But what do you think, Kodi? He hasn't heard from the guy. Did he push it too far?
By asking for clarity on a situation when this guy is throwing mixed signals, no, not in the slightest.
Yeah.
You did nothing
Absolutely
wrong.
not. Yeah.
And you dodged a bullet because this person can't communicate feelings and their emotions and their desires effectively. And it seems like they're afraid of their emotions and their feelings because the, I was okay with things because you do show affection to your hookups when you are with them because you're a human being. People want to connect in more ways than one, maybe not just sexually, maybe be a little bit more intimate. But showing your picture to the friends, that is where I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's definitely a mixed signal because if you're just a hookup, why are you showing them a picture to your friends? It's not anything that they need to be knowing, or it maybe they were proud that they were hooking up with somebody so hot. But that is the only reason that I could think of that you would show your friends. I agree that the signals were mixed, and I don't think that they were over the line as far as asking for clarity.
Yeah, I think the person writing in did nothing wrong in asking. They all the signs were there. I think they showed a little bit of caution. They didn't race into this kind of thing. I think relationship people are freaky. You never really know where they're at with a lot of this stuff. And I've gone on several dates with people that seemed like it was going really well. And then all of a sudden, they dropped off the face of the planet and you didn't hear from them. And you're left wondering, it's that weird, empty feeling like, what did I do? Why did they just drop off the face of the planet? What's going on? And it sucks. It really sucks. It's shitty.
Yeah.
And you often never get an answer with these type of behavior. I don't think this person did anything wrong, and I think they do deserve somewhat of a response. But being that it's still so new, I think you have to sometimes chalk it up to the fact that people are weird and you'll never maybe know what they're really dealing with, sadly. I mean, in my relationship, we took believe it or not, I hadn't been with somebody in 10 years at all.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew each other way longer before we got together and had been either sleeping together or we went on a couple dates, some hikes before we really got to that. And I pushed to get this relationship cranked up and going, but it wasn't only
Mm-hmm.
after a long period of time. And I think if you can keep that momentum going, then you might have something there. But when you try and rush something along, you never know the baggage that somebody has and that they're dealing with. What do you say also?
No, I definitely agree with you. I think that you don't know what someone is going through, so you definitely cannot blame yourself as far
Yeah.
as what somebody else is doing because 9 times out of 10 it has nothing to do with you. It's always something that's inside of them that is allowing them to or separate themselves from you. So I agree with you that if it works and if the things are flowing, then that's a good time to push things and see how the relationship can progress. But if they are not responsive, you can't blame yourself because at the end of the day, if you are giving your 100%, then that is what is required of them as well. And if they're not willing to give it, then they don't deserve your time.
Well stated. Absolutely great advice. Let's get one more piece of advice here. Let me put my glasses on. How do I get over my addiction to hookup apps? I keep getting on Growler, Sniffies, Double List. You know about Double List, Kodi?
No, I barely heard about I had to search my brain for growler, so but
Okay,
that's for the
Growler is like
bears.
theirs. Double
Yeah.
List, which we are in talks of a potential partnership, I hope, but Double
Hey,
List
girl.
is taking over for Craigslist. And remember how
Wow.
Craigslist took away our ability to put up the meetups, men for men, uh, all kinds of hookups and personals. Double List is
Yeah.
only about the personal section. And I started an account over there because I wanted to see what I was talking about if we are going to partner up with them. But Double List is a new way. Think of Craigslist personals. And Scruff or even Grinder wrote this person. Almost no one that I would want to hook up with wants to hook up with me. And the constant rejection on these apps is taking a toll. I still find myself opening them up at least 5 to 10 times per hour, especially all day when I am off. I just feel like I need to have sex. It would be better than constantly searching out porn, which I do too much of. I have only been able to hook up with 2 people in the past year, and sex was meh. I don't know why I even would want to hook up at all. Besides those other 2 times, the multitude of times I hooked up in the past, the sex wasn't really that good. The guys didn't want to do that stuff that I wanted to, or they tried to beg me to do bareback. And after each encounter, I was ultra paranoid after catching a disease. I don't even think I like hookups. I just do the hookups in these apps for the validation and as a replacement for affection and relationships. They wrote this, I am fat when I was, I am fat when I was smaller. It was much easier to hook up because I didn't look like I was 8 months pregnant. Their words, I am embarrassed at the way my clothes fit now, but that is another story. Wow, that's a lot there, Kodi.
It's definitely a lot. Wow.
Addicted to hookup apps. I would have to say that don't do it, right? Get off of, if addiction is a serious word, and if you find yourself addicted to anything, I mean, on a lighter note, whenever my sister and I are here in Puerto Vallarta, totopos, which are tortilla chips, we are addicted to totopos, and we think we have an addiction to them. We can't stop eating them, but we just have to stop. And so I eat so many tortilla chips here. But on a serious note, I think that any addiction, it can be a serious thing, and you need to just stop and put yourself on. I was just reading a different Reddit thread that somebody was going on their very first speed dating. You need to start looking for ways to connect with people. We say it on the show all the time. If you're not liking what you're seeing, then change the course. Changing the course would mean getting off the apps and getting involved in activities. Maybe one of the activities is like a walking group. There's so many actually LGBTQ communities out there that you can get involved with, and just meeting people. Because even if your goal is to get in a relationship, it might not happen right away, but you'll start meeting some beautiful, lovely people that share a common interest with you. And that will take your mind off of, it's all about taking your mind off of and changing patterns, Kodi. So I'm just being here in Puerto Vallarta. I'm not looking at CNN and the news because we don't actually get it here in Puerto Vallarta. And you know what? I'm more productive here. I'm getting a lot more done. And it's by changing the course. Now, I'm not saying you have to move to somewhere else to do it, but you've got to change the pattern.
The woods. Go to the woods, baby.
Go to the woods. You've got to change the pattern of behavior that isn't serving you well, and you've got to find what will serve you well and try that course. What do you say?
I agree with you. You have to break up the pattern. For me, as far as what I see for them, I think that they should delete Grindr and Growler and all of the things, because that is the inception of their addiction. I feel like if it wasn't on their phone at all, then that would enable them to be more vigilant in separating themselves from it. Second thing is, I think that this person does need to go see a therapist because they have a lot of unresolved issues as far as their body image is concerned and their interpersonal relationships are concerned, that I feel need to go, they need to be worked through.
Addressed, yeah.
It makes me really sad that this person is going through this, and I think that the more they are able to accept themselves and for who they are and for what they like and for what they want to do, the better off they'll be. It really alarmed me that they said that the sex wasn't really that good, even though they would go out and hook up with people, because I've been in that space before, and it just was a lack of self-esteem on my part. So I don't know if that's the case with them, but I really would like for them to go and get some help on this.
I think you're right. Help on this would be really great. I think you're right also about, they did say the sex wasn't really that great. And when that It sounds to me like they're looking more for a connection with somebody
Hmm.
more so than good sex, bad sex. And,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
agree with you.
I think that you're trying to find a connection. And that's why I say get out there and meet like-minded people and start connecting with people in general, not to hook up, not for relationships.
Yeah,
And that will come
I was
down
gonna
the
say that.
roads as well. When you just start connecting with people, we are in a lack thereof, a deficit of connecting. I really feel that. And I say it all the time. Post pandemic, I really connected with my neighbors and I talked to everybody, and not everybody I'm really, having these amazing relationships with, but it's really made my life so much more fruitful to have some of these beautiful connections. So, yeah,
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 I hear you.
exactly. Oh my goodness. Well, we want to thank everybody, our virtual audience, for always checking in with us. Thank you so much for playing. And you can always follow my co host. You can follow him on Bluesky and follow him at Mr. Maurice on Bluesky. And where can people donate to your upcoming EP, Kodi?
The Indiegogo is complete now. So reach out to me and we can, if you would like to donate and have me help support my burgeoning music career, just let me know. I can create a new Indiegogo. We can do things in order to, help make my dream come true. So thank you very much.
I love it. And we said follow him on Instagram as well at Mr. Maurice. And,
Yep.
also, I just see one of our listeners, Malibu, asking a question about do we do questions from listeners? Yes, we totally do. I say it on every single episode when we usually do a Reddit. We say, that's why we're giving our handles. So if you want to DM Kodi, you can DM Kodi, you can DM myself, or you could just go to Tags Podcast. We've done it in the past where we give solicited advice or unsolicited to listeners all the time. And we're always looking out for those. So please write into us. We are here for you. And we are very thoughtful about our advice when we do give it to our listeners and the Redditors as well. We take this very seriously and we even,
100%.
yes, absolutely. You can follow me on the gram. I am _Stevie. Go to my Bluesky at Tags Podcast or my X at Tags Podcast, where you get a preview of my Just for Fans and OnlyFans content. I've been posting all week while I've been in here in Puerto Vallarta, so you get a really good preview. Don't forget about our Patreon, where I'm doing behind the scenes all the time, and you can go to patreon.com/tags podcast. Grab a free tier. It's there all neatly packaged up for you. And in the meantime, continue having hot
Hot
gay
gay
sex.
sex.
Lovely.